Question 29, we have really a logic and reasoning type question. Used a little bit of reading comprehension in order to get out the important things we need. I think I'll switch to a highlighter on this one. All right, let's read the question statement in the question first, and then we'll start to analyze it. If two triangles have all corresponding sides and all corresponding angles congruent, then they are congruent triangles. So we have corresponding sides and corresponding angles are congruent. Then they are congruent triangles. So if two triangles are congruent, then they are similar triangles. So we have two triangles congruent, they're similar triangles. Given these facts, which of the following statements is valid? So we're looking for, let's highlight valid here. We need a true statement. So when we read it, we say, given the information above, this is a true statement. All right, answer choice A. Similar triangles have all sides and all angles congruent. Okay, well, that kind of sounds close to what we got. Similar triangles would be congruent. They would have all sides and, well, wait a minute. It says all sides and all angles congruent. This says corresponding sides and corresponding angles congruent. Didn't say anything about all. So switch to red here on this go around. So we would mark this out. We don't know anything about all. We just know about corresponding sides, which means if side AB is congruent to side ED in another triangle. All right, B, let's read it. If two triangles are similar, then they are congruent. Well, if two triangles are congruent, then they are similar. Now, it doesn't say anything in this statement, the second statement, about if two triangles are similar, then they are congruent. We don't know that to be true. We know, given the statement, that if two triangles are congruent, then they are similar. Now, similar triangles is a quick mini lesson. Similar triangles are two triangles that they can be similar if they're congruent to each other. They can also be similar if one of them is bigger than the other, and every side is bigger by the same scale factor, or it's been, let's say, doubled, is the easiest way to think about it. So let's jump up here, and we'll get us a triangle right quick, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. There's one triangle, and there's another triangle. All right, so if I make this triangle, if I extend it out to be that big, and then these were the same triangles when I started, so as I make them bigger, they get bigger, all sides get bigger at the same scale. So this triangle is similar to this one, and it's just bigger, and it's bigger by the scale factor on each side. So we don't know, we know B not to be true. All right, given the statement and then just what we know about similar triangles also. And then C, if two triangles are not congruent, then they are not similar. Okay, so this is a possibility on this one. Let's think about it. They're not congruent triangles, which means corresponding sides are not congruent, then they are not similar. So we are negating our original statements here where we talked about corresponding sides being congruent and corresponding angles, and then they are congruent triangles. If they're congruent, then they are similar. And so we're not too sure about C. Now we'll look at D and see what it says. If two triangles have all corresponding sides and angles congruent, then they are similar triangles. Okay, so essentially what we have done now is we have taken, and I'm going to put this in red this time, we have taken this part of the first statement, and we have said that if this is true, then they are congruent triangles. And then the second statement says if they are congruent triangles, then they are similar. Well, if their corresponding angles and corresponding sides are congruent, we can substitute that into the second statement for where it says triangles are congruent, right here. So we can take what we underline in red here, because those equal congruent triangles, and then in the second statement we can substitute what's underlined in red in the first into the second statement. So now it can read, if two triangles, all corresponding sides and corresponding angles congruent, then they are similar triangles. This would be a valid statement, C. So by looking at that, or excuse me, D would be the answer. So we have ruled out C then in that case. So what they've done here is they've said two things, taken two if-then statements, and then you have substituted one part of the if or the hypothesis where the hypothesis was in the second statement, and then we just basically combine the two statements together to get one statement, answer D. So just kind of read through those, take your time, think about what you know in the context of the question, and then look at what may be a valid choice given what the statements say.